This show is brought to you by our friends at bayphoto.com. Head over after the show to print something amazing. Be sure to check out their specials at bayphoto.com/specials.
So first thing I want to talk about is this post, recent post in Instagram. And again, you guys should be following me because I'm putting out a lot of stuff. Here's the question: were you ever discouraged? If so, how did it affect your creativity? You can answer this in the chat, or you can go to Instagram and answer that. I want to talk about this because discouragement can be obviously part of the creative process. There's any number of ways to be discouraged. I'm going to add my face here if I can find that. I'm not going to do that. Okay, but there's any number of ways you can get discouraged, right? Think of a few. You can think you created something really wonderful and you put it out to the world, and some troll comes along, wham, tries to knock you down, and that's a bummer. What can you say? Nobody likes that, but you got to get over it and you got to push that out of the way. You can get discouraged because you have this beautiful vision of something. You go, wow, I visualized this photograph perfectly, and I think I got a great image captured. And you go back to your editing platform, it's just not there. You ever try to move your sliders around and try to make something out of that, and it's just finally you come to the conclusion, this is not the photograph I thought I had. You got to let it go. I mean, if it isn't there, it isn't there. Just move on. Go out and take another photograph, capture another photograph. There's many ways, but probably the most insidious way is the discouragement that comes out of your own head. I'm not good enough, and somebody else has already done this better, and I'll never be that good, and all that crap that floats around. So Vincent van Gogh, who certainly had his share of discouragement since he really never sold anything, it's hard to believe. So he said, in spite of everything, I shall rise again. I will take up my pencil, which I have forsaken in my great discouragement, and I will go on with my drawing. He had a lifetime of discouragement. He did not have a happy life, but he was a brilliant painter. And he kept going. He left a big legacy of paintings. And he could have quit at any time because there were so many reasons why he shouldn't have kept going. But he was passionate, and he kept that passion going, like he just said. You don't have to cut your ear off. You don't have to do the things that he did. Just take a look at the discouragement and push through it. Push your way through it. One of the comments I really like, I'm going to read it to you here, way down here. This was in German, and Hans could translate it for us. I'm not going to attempt my own translation, but it says it means to stand up, fixing crowns, and keep going, and keep on keeping on. Fixing your crown, I guess that's And Hans, maybe you can chime in there if you've got it. I'll put the original here. I'm not gonna butcher this with my mispronunciation, but hopefully you can see that on there. And that's a cool phrase of here it is. Stand up, fixing crowns, keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on is good enough for me, because that's what this is all about. We're in it for the long haul, folks, as far as our creativity. It's not something that's going to flick on and off. It doesn't matter what happens on your Instagram. It doesn't matter what happens, to that one troll who throws mud at you. I have one that's just a pestering, stupid, thing. And I finally called him out. I usually just ignore him. And I said, give me a specific. And the guy could not answer with a specific because he was claiming that I didn't know who I was ignorant about the Beatles. I'm like, what are you talking about? I grew up with the Beatles. I read numerous books. And he interpreted because I was asking questions, I didn't know the answer. So I said, give me a specific. He didn't. I said, give me a specific. He didn't. And finally, I said, look, I've asked you multiple times. You can't come up with an answer. I interview people to get data. Doesn't mean I don't know. I'm not there for me when I'm doing an interview. I'm there for the guest and for your benefit. Okay. All right. Well, let's get to the main stuff here. Hey, Jeff. Let's just well, we got some interesting news, but I think we're going to wait a little bit. Okay. We'll wait a little bit further into the show. We're going to pop this out for you guys. So, Jared, I'm going to head over to your screen.
Sounds good.
Wow, I know. I saw this on AYP Club and I love it. So tell us who this is. And
in case people are wondering, if you want to get your photos in, we've got quite a few, but we love getting people in live. So if you go over to the AYP Club, there's a link in the description of the video. You can submit your photos there. I'll try to keep an eye and accept new people. And anyways, this photo is by William. Caught this while searching for street images in the small hilltop town of Atri, Italy. It's called the Community Theater, and I go out to capture images. I truly hope for one keeper of the day, and this is that image.
That's a keeper of a lifetime. And you know how you know it's a really good photograph? I wish I had captured it myself. That's how you know. A friend of mine said that a long time ago. We were both, we went to Mexico. If you read my book, Create. And by the way, I do have I'll show you in a minute. I'll show you some of what the new edition looks like. But he said, you know when it's a good photograph because you really wish you had captured it yourself. This is a brilliant photograph. There's so many things about it I like. I love the fact that you have just the leading lines leading up to the subject. Yeah, right there, the guy playing the piano. The leading lines of the walls, and even the chairs kind of lead your eye towards him. And then he is well lit. And that's just so fortunate. That light could have been off because nobody's in that theater. And that lit him up. You've got his white shirt against the black background makes him pop. Yeah. It's just brilliant. And I love the tonality, the tones of the, kind of tan tones. But the contrast of your subject bouncing out, pops right out of the frame. The other thing, I could go on and on, but it's a frame within a frame. I mean, look at the overall frame, and then he's framed, right there by the curtains. It's spectacular. You got to print this. You got to use it. Super well done. Again, I'm jealous. I wish I was in Italy. I didn't see this scene anywhere. And it's just, you need to get a big print made. It's true, you may not be able to order Bay Photo in Italy if you're in Italy. But you have other labs. Get this printed, put it on your wall, get it framed. Okay? So well done.
And I think that this is a good example of like taking pictures of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Because this is clearly a place well. You said specifically what it was. So assumedly this is a place well. And even though it's ordinary to you potentially, you can find stunning images anywhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's just part of our creative process of looking around carefully and seeing what you see. Wow, who's this and what's the story?
This is from our good friend Gear, who is in the chat. Gear. We always love seeing your stuff. So this is a high sun makes beautiful rays in the mist from the waterfall. This is from in Norway. I'm not even going to try to pronounce
in Norway. Wow.
The city or the location in Norway, and this was taken with a 90mm lens and Ilford Delta 100.
Oh, it's a film shot. Amazing.
because of course Gear loves doing his film and paper, as we know. So, and
Absolutely.
we
And you,
love seeing your work from it.
yeah, so I don't even have to ask how you process it. This is a film shot. This is brilliant. And you have, relatively slow shutter speed. I'd like to know what it is because we can see the movement of the water. That's great. We see the mist, and there's a really good dynamic range. I always look, do we have some pretty deep blacks, which we do, and we have some pretty pure whites, which we do. The motion, the feeling, you feel. I gave a class Tuesday morning, 7:30 a.m. to two different high school classes at my local high school, the Carmel High School. I've given classes to them before, and they asked me to come back again. And it was awesome. I love talking to these guys. They're juniors and seniors mostly in high school, and they're just on the verge of going out and they could launch their own career. That's about how old I was when I was a little younger when I launched my career. But I played them a section of Ansel Adams talking about visualization, and he makes this point that Alfred Stieglitz, who was a mentor to Ansel, said, I capture something that excites me, and I try to capture what I saw and felt. And I give that to you as an equivalent of what I saw and felt. It's never going to be what you saw and felt, ever. It's going to be an equivalent of it. And you're striving for that. And what you have here, I feel the energy in the water. I've been there. I know, I haven't been to this location, but I've been by big, powerful waterfalls. And I know what it feels like to be in that kind of energy. And it's exciting and scary, and all these emotions can come into it. So well done. Excellent. I love this photograph. And the fact that you shot it on Ilford, kudos. Absolutely. Please subscribe and enable the bell so you don't miss any of our new shows. Like the video and please share it and leave your comments. I love hearing from you. And remember to get out and capture your own images of life.